Dah ke?
Dah.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today our group will present repeat product Tilapia Masak Asam. My group member is me, MEGAT ZHAFIR, MEGAT ZAINURIN, Raihana binti MUHAMAD Razip, AQLIAH binti ROZMAN dan NURULSARINA. Next is introduction. HACCP is recognized worldwide as the most effective managing system which food safety is addressed through the analysis and control of biological, chemical and physical hazard in food manufacturing, storage, distribution and consumer consumption. HACCP system in a food organization means control over stage of food manufacturing from processing raw material, grinding, mixing, packaging, labeling and storage to consumer handling and other to ensure food safety for consumption. HACCP or Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point refer to the application of HACCP principle in the context of retard processing. Retard processing is a method used in a food preservation that involves placing food in a seal, package and subjecting it to high temperature under pressure to destroy harmful microorganisms and extend shelf life. Implementing HACCP retard involves applying the HACCP principle specifically to the retard processing stage of food production. The purpose is to identify, evaluate, and carry out during the retard process, ensuring the safety and quality of the final product. Next is objective of HACCP plan. Objective 1 is to identify and controlling potential hazard that can cause a risk to consumer health. Second is to ensure Tilapia Masak Asam comply with the food safety regulation and standard. Next, I will pass to organization of HACCP team presenter.
Organization of HACCP team. The team leader is AQLIAH binti ROZMAN. MEGAT Muhammad Zafir bin MEGAT ZAINURIN as Food Safety Management. Me, Raihana binti Muhammad Razip as Quality Assurance, and lastly, NURULSARINA as Product Management. The team leader is responsible for overseeing and coordinating the entire HACCP implementation process. Ensure that the team follow HACCP principle and guideline. Liaise with management and other departments to ensure HACCP compliance. Food safety management responsible for overseeing and managing the overall food safety program within the organization. Takes a lead role in implementation of the HACCP team. Stays update with food safety regulation and ensure the organization complies with applicable laws and guidelines. Quality Assurance Manager responsible for establishing and maintaining effective quality control system, develop and enforce quality assurance policies that align with industry best practice, regulatory requirement and customer expectation. Third, conduct internal quality audit to assess the effectiveness of quality control measure and adherence to established procedure. Lastly, product manager standardizing the production process to ensure consistency and compliance with quality and safety standard. Second, evaluate the equipment and facility used in the production process to ensure that meet food safety requirement. And lastly, ensure that employer involved in the production process receive adequate training on food safety practice, SOP and HACCP principle. Next, I will pass to the next presenter.
Okay, for flowchart with CCP, um, first um, first it start with cooking, which is we cook the gravy, included anchovies, onion, Vietnamese coriander, tamarind slice, ground chilies, tamarind, lemongrass, and salt. After cook the gravy, we pack it into a retortable pouch. Um, and then we put the raw tilapia fish into the same retortable pouch. After that, uh, we retort it at 120, 121 degrees Celsius and cooling. After that, we store it at the room temperature and then distribution. Next. Oh, sorry. For the CCP, for the CCP is so, CCP yang terlibat adalah bahagian retort yang ada 100 yang retort yang pada suhu 121 tu. Next. Okay, for product specification, product name is Tilapia Masak Asam, and for the brand name is 11 Hour. Origin is from Malaysia. Important product characteristic is the appearance is brown texture, soft. The appearance is brown. The texture is soft. Flavor is watery, sourness, and the packaging is retortable pouch. The intended use is easier for postpartum mother, and the target consumer is suitable for postpartum mother. And the process included is receiving, washing, cutting, blend roughly, mixing, cooking, and packaging. Next. Okay, for the raw material list is tilapia fish, onion, ground chilies, lemongrass, Vietnam's coriander, anchovies, tamarind slice, tamarind, salt, and sugar. For the packaging types, there is three types, which is primary, secondary, and tertiary. For the primary, we use 4 layers retortable pouch, and the secondary is cardboard box, and the tertiary is brown cardboard box, wood pellets, and shrink wrap. Okay, for the storage condition, it is stored at room temperature. Next. Okay, for the shelf life, usually for ready to eat food, it will long last for 2 years, at least 2 years. And for allergen information is tilapia fish. Labeling instruction for consumer. For the best consuming, please reheat the food product before eating. Do finish the product once open it. And for lastly is distribution condition. The product should be shipped in room temperature and handled with care. Next, I will pass to the next presenter.
So I would like to explain about the hazard, which is, as you can see, there are hazard significant assessment and CCP decision tree. So for hazard significant assessment, it is a tool that used to evaluate and prioritize hazard based on their potential impact on safety and operation. It can help to identify and assess hazard in order to determine the level of significance associated with each hazard. The metric typically consists of two main components, which are hazard identification and significant assessment. So for the CCP decision tree, is used as a systematic approach of HACCP system to identify critical control point within a process or system. Next. So this is hazard analysis assessment for tilapia masak asam. Basically, there consists 10 important process step. The first one is receiving. So for the receiving, it only have biological hazard, which is contamination from food handler during receiving or from pest infection on damaged product. So the justification is all approved supplier are subjected to agreed specification, and handler should be trained to handle ingredient with care. So the severity is 4 and the likelihood is D, which is when darab we get 21, which is not significant. So how to prevent this hazard? We can do visual inspection and personal training. So based on the HACCP 3, we can see we can get that this step is not CCP. So second step is scale removing. So for scale removing, they only have physical hazard, which is scale being left behind during the scale removal process. So how to it happen when inadequate handling practice. So this step also not significant. Uh, um, how to control this hazard by visual inspection. Next. So the third step is washing. In this step, only have biological hazard, which is residue of fish blood. So when this hazard happen, it can cause bacteria grow, which is blood on fish can contain pathogenic bacteria such as Salmonella, E. coli, and E. coli. When this hazard happen, it can cause foodborne illness. So this step also not significant. So how to prevent this step? How to prevent this hazard is ensure that fish is washed under clean running water to remove all any visible blood residue. So this step also not CCP. So the fourth step is the first step is cutting. The hazard that happen during this step is cross contamination of microorganisms from utensil. So this happen when inadequate handling practice tool for fish and vegetables um should be separate to prevent this hazard to happen. This hazard also not CCP. Next. So next is cooking gravy. In this step have two potential hazard, which are biological and chemical. So for biological, the hazard that will happen is cross contamination from food handler. So why this happen? Because use the same spoon to taste the food and stir the gravy during the preparation of gravy. So bacteria in the mouth will spread in the gravy and cause the gravy to go stale. So uh, in this hazard, it is not significant. So how to prevent? The food handler should use a spirit tool to taste and stir the gravy. Next is chemical. So for chemical hazard, it's happen when residue chemical or substance present and at cooking utensil. So it happen when the food handler not properly rinse off cooking tool. This residue come into contact with the gravy during cooking that can cause contamination to food. So how to prevent this hazard? We can clean and sanitize cooking utensils thoroughly before use, to ensuring they are free from any detergent residue or other contamination. For these two hazard, it is not CCP. Next. So the next step is packaging. In this step, only have one potential hazard, which is biological hazard. In this hazard happen when cross-contamination from unsanitary food product handling during post packaging. So this happen because improper handling that cause that happen because the food handler not wash their hand. So how to prevent this? How to prevent this hazard is train an adequate food handler on proper hand washing technique, and also using plastic glove when handling food packaging. This hazard is not CCP. So next is retorting at 121 degrees Celsius at 30 minutes. At this step, there is one potential hazard, which is biological hazard. So this happen when survival of Clostridium botulinum if not properly cooked. So this happen when the food handler inadequate heat penetration due to improper retorting condition that allowing them to survive and potentially grow in sealed container. So uh, this hazard is significant. So how to prevent it? By calibration the temperature probe at least one at year, and also training the food handler about standard operation procedure. So at this step, it is CCP, which is critical control point. Next. So the last three steps is cooling, storage, and distribution. There are no potential hazard for three step. For this step. Next. So this is HACCP plan summary. So as we already know, the CCP is retorting process that happen when there are survival of Clostridium botulinum that survive when the food is not properly cooked. So the critical limit in this step is heating temperature minimum at 121 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. So what is the parameter that play important role in this step is retorting temperature and retorting time. Um, how to prevent this happen? By using a thermometer and a timer for each batch. The person that in charge during this step is cooking operator and QC supervisor. So the corrective action is check thermometer performance and check time performance. So for the record, QA managers should play an important role to verify retorting temperature and time record, calibration temperature gauge yearly, lab tests for finished product. So verification is retorting temperature and time record, and calibration record, personal training record. That's all for me. Let's move to the another presenter.
Next is conclusion. In conclusion, HACCP RITA is an essential application of the hazard analysis, critical control point, principle specifically tailored to the RITA processing stage in food production by systematically analyzing potential hazard, identifying critical control point, setting critical limit, implementing monitoring and corrective action, and conducting verification. HACCP RITA ensure that the safety and quality of the RITA processed food product. They have 7 process steps, which are receiving, scale removing, washing, cutting, cooking, gravy, packaging, and retorting. For the receiving, potential hazard is biological hazard. Next, from the scale removing, the potential hazard is physical hazard, which means scale being left behind during the scale removal process. Next, washing step, the potential hazard is biological hazard. Cutting process, the potential hazard is biological hazard. For the cooking gravy, they have 2 potential hazard, which is biological and chemical hazard. Last, for the packaging and retorting, the potential hazard is biological hazard. So that's all from us. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.